Amid war that is going on between Russia and Ukraine, a joint exercise between the Chinese and Russian Navy in the East China Sea is set to begin this week to further deepen cooperation between Moscow and Beijing, China has announced. The drills will be held off the coast of Zhejiang province south of Shanghai from today the 21st of December until next Tuesday, according to a brief notice posted on Monday by China's Eastern Theater Command of the People's Liberation Army. The notice said that this joint exercise is directed at demonstrating the determination and capability of the two sides to jointly respond to maritime security threats and further deepen the China-Russia Comprehensive New Era strategic partnership of coordination. The Russian Defense Ministry said on Monday that ships involved in the joint drills included the Varyag missile cruiser, the Marshal Shaposhnikov destroyer, and two corvette-class ships of Russia's Pacific Fleet. The ministry said the Chinese Navy planned to deploy several surface warships and a submarine for the exercise and that military aircraft from both sides will take part. China provided no information on what units would be taking part in the exercise, which comes at a time when ties between Moscow and Beijing, while strained by Russia's invasion of Ukraine, have remained strong, and China has provided political cover for Russia's war on its neighbor amid international pressure and condemnation of Moscow's aggression. Russia has also more recently strongly backed China amid its tensions with the US over Taiwan. Keeping aside decades of mutual distrust, China and Russia have stepped up military exercises as part of their aligning of their foreign policies in recent years to oppose the US-led liberal Western political policy. China refusing to criticize Russia's invasion of Ukraine or even to refer to it as an invasion of war. Beijing has condemned Western sanctions against Moscow and accuses Washington and NATO of provoking Russian President Vladimir Putin into taking action. China also remains a major customer of Russian oil and gas, which is being bought at a heavy discount. Russia and China are also said to be sharing a method of approaches and strategies to undermine NATO. China and Russia are increasingly sharing a toolkit that should concern the NATO alliance. There's just no question that the People's Republic of China and Russia are both working to divide the transatlantic partners. And NATO is very aware. NATO have a deeper appreciation of those efforts and are intent on addressing them. It seems China watches very closely how Russia relies on disinformation and things like coercion or energy security, malign or malicious cyber operations. NATO listed China for the first time in June as one of its strategic challengers, saying Beijing's ambitions and its coercive policies undermine the Western military bloc's interests, security and values. In November, Tu-95 bombers of the Russian Air Force and Chinese H-6K bombers flew joint patrols over the Sea of Japan and the East China Sea. As part of the drills, the Russian bombers landed in China for the first time, and the Chinese bombers flew to an air base in Russia. In September, China sent more than 2,000 troops along with more than 300 military vehicles, 21 combat aircraft and 3 warships to take part in a sweeping joint exercise with Russia. The Vostok 2022 East 2022 exercise took place in various locations in Russia's Far East and the Sea of Japan and involved more than 50,000 troops and 5,000 weapons units, including 140 aircraft and 60 warships, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. China last week also sent a squadron of Navy ships through straits near Japan into the Western Pacific as Beijing blasted Tokyo's adoption of a new national security strategy, putting itself on a more offensive footing, largely as a result of the perceived threat from China. Though Beijing and Moscow aren't formal diplomatic allies, China's leader Xi Jinping has been Mr. Putin's most powerful supporter and has found common cause with the Russian leader in trying to defend their nation's respective interests and authoritarian systems from Western pressure. Mr. Xi has publicly tried to put distance between Beijing and Moscow, as Russia has faced several battlefield setbacks, but has simultaneously refrained from outwardly criticizing Moscow's actions in Ukraine. Officials in Beijing have expressed support for Russia's position in favor of a fair settlement in the conflict, according to the readout of a recent diplomatic call between Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi. In recent weeks, Mr. Xi has instructed his government to forge stronger economic ties with Russia, according to policy advisors to Beijing. Russia, in turn, has backed China amid its tensions with the US over Taiwan. China's defense ministry confirmed the joint military drills on Tuesday, describing them as a demonstration of the determination and capability of the two sides to jointly respond to maritime security threats, maintain international and regional peace and stability, and further deepen China-Russia comprehensive strategic partnership. Russia's defense ministry said the Pacific Fleet's flagship Varyag missile cruiser, the Marshal Shaposhnikov frigate, and the warships Aldar Sedenzipov and Sovosheny would represent Russia in the drills. China's naval forces would include 2 destroyers, 2 patrol ships, an integrated supply ship and a diesel submarine, Russia's defense ministry said. Russian and Chinese marine aviation planes and helicopters would also participate in the training, according to Russian defense officials. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.